Hey everybody, welcome to another one of our awesome videos. I'm Paige Libbert. I'm one of the consumer technology specialists here at Mid-Continent Public Library. And today we're going to take maybe not a super technology dive, but we're going to go look at some resources for DIY. I know that's been a big thing during the pandemic. A lot of people were getting into DIY and doing crafts at home because, well, you guys were all kind of stuck at home. So we're going to go into a bunch of resources if you want to continue those DIY dreams and try some new projects and that sort of stuff. So today's topics, we're going to look at some DIY resources from the library, and then also going to look around for some on the web and some apps as well that are going to be super useful. And then what you're going to need. So to do most of what we're going to do today, you're going to need a computer or mobile device. That, of course, is just because most of these are going to be websites. Some of what I'm going to show you is an app. Several of the resources I'm going to show you actually have apps available if I'm not actually focusing on it as an app, but there are apps available for them. You can always access a lot of these things through the browser on your mobile device if you don't want to download the app or don't have the space. You will need an internet connection. That can be wired, wireless, mobile data, hotspot data, whatever you need. If you are coming into the library to use our resources and our computers, you will need your MCPL access pass, which is just your library card number, and your PIN. You'll need that to get onto the computers, but you will also need that to log into any of our online resources. And then I said tools of the trade. I didn't really want to get specific because it depends entirely on the DIY project you were doing. If you're doing something working with fabric, you're going to probably need a sewing kit or sewing machine. Paints and stuff, you're going to need, well, paint. If you're building some furniture or something like that, you're going to need maybe screwdrivers, hammers, tape measures, those sorts of things. So keep that in mind with any of these DIY projects. If you do decide to take any of them on, that you will possibly need very specific tools to handle them, and may or may not have those on hand. And with that, I'm just going to go dive into some of these resources. So here I am. I am on the MCPL homepage. This is our main website. So we're going to land as soon as you get to our stuff. So I do want to focus on a handful of library resources before I dig into just some general websites, which I'm guessing you can already see at the top, but try not to pay attention to those. I'm just going to come over here and click on Research and Learning. And then from here, there's a few different ways to get to the resources. Right now, I'm just going to focus on the Online Learning tab, because that's where 2 of the 3 resources I want to show you are. But there are tons of different ways that you can find these. They are hidden in, or not hidden, but they are tucked away in some of the Browse Subjects options. You can also, if you know the name of the resource, you can always just find it in the A to Z list very quickly and easily. But for right now, I'm going to click on Online Learning. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. And the first resource that I want to show you is Universal Class. I've shown you this one several times in a variety of different ways. Let's see here. All right, I am already logged in. I logged in earlier. So when you do go to log into Universal Class, it just asks you for your basic login. If you're new to Universal Class, you can create an account with them using your library information and then just an email and a password. It's very easy, and that way you can keep track of all the classes you're taking. But Universal Class, you can see I have taken cooking and baking, which I guess is technically DIY, but that is not what I wanted to focus on today. I was going to come up here into the Browse Resources, and right here at the very top, you can see that there's a section for crafts and hobbies, which would, I do believe, fall under DIY. And then actually over here on the left-hand side, right towards the bottom of the screen, there's a how-to and do-it-yourself section as well. And so that's going to bring up all kinds of videos and courses, tutorials that have something to do with DIY. So if we kind of come down here, so there's aromatherapy, if you want to learn how to bartend, there's candle making, cake decorating, scroll down a little bit more, essays, event planning, feng shui, getting used to some drawing, which is something I should probably take because I cannot draw. I can't even make a nice circle. Pie baking. So you can see there's a whole bunch of them in here. I'm going to hit this one. So soap making 101, I'm just going to click on that so you can kind of see what it looks like when you're first going in to join a class. So the Universal Class courses vary in length and kind of what you have to put into them. So this one is a 7-hour approximate class time. So all of these classes are self-paced. They are all completely online. So you can do them at whatever pace you want to do them. If you want to do this whole class in one day, be my guest. Otherwise, you can take years. You can take as long as you would like. You can see that there are 7 lessons. So they're saying it's about an hour a lesson. But these lessons will come oftentimes with either a full video or some sort of reading that you have to do, or sometimes both. The reading and the video don't always match. Sometimes they are slightly different. So if you come across that, it's nice to be able to kind of do both. Other times the video and the text just ends up being kind of a transcript for the video. But the lessons do often have kind of assignments, and there is actually a real life person that goes in and checks out your assignments and gives you feedback. And there are exams. A lot of times the exams are multiple choice. But if you do complete the course and complete all the assignments, you can earn continuing education credits, or CEUs. You can see this one's worth 0.7, so 2/3 about, of a CEU. And I know there are some employers out there who actually either focus on or encourage earning those kind of credits and can help you with promotions or just standing at work. So you get that. If nothing else, you get a fancy little certificate that says I did it. And you apparently know how to make soap after you take this class. So there are a lot of classes like that. They vary in length. The average I see is about 10 hours, but it's anywhere between about 5 and 20. So it just really depends on the topic. But I wanted to show you this just so you know that it's out there. I'm going to close this one up. So I'm back here under the online learning tab. And I'm going to scroll down just a little bit to Overdrive. That is our house of mini ebooks and e-audio books. I'm going to click on Overdrive to get that open. This should be a familiar page to a lot of you. I use Overdrive frequently in these videos because it is a really good resource for just about any topic. You can find something because you're looking for books, and there are books on just about everything. So I'm just going to search to clear out the great courses. It always defaults to that for me for some reason. And we'll just do maybe DIY. Oh, DIY home. We'll do that. And so I just did a search of DIY home. You can see right here, it turned back 138 responses. And if I scroll down, you can see all kinds of stuff on different projects. Some of it is going to be like a little bit of a short history about it, so it's not all going to be specifically DIY. That's what you would use this stuff over here on the left to kind of narrow things down just to make sure you're getting exactly what you want. You can always change your search too to be a little bit more specific. But you can see there's wood pallet workshop, so you're making furniture and household items using wood pallets, all kinds of stuff. So this is a great place to go to find ideas, tutorials, all kinds of information. These are all ebooks, so you can read them directly on your computer or through an app on your phone. Overdrive does have a mobile app, but if you are a frequent user of the Kindle or a Kindle app, you can send stuff to your Kindle and Kindle app that way as well for many of these titles. And some of these may even have an e-audio book. Might be a little harder to do DIY with an e-audio book, but if you do have that available and you would like to just listen to DIY ideas, that is an option that you can do. So I just wanted to show you that one real quick as a resource. Now I'm back here. I'm on the online learning tab, but this is not where I want to be anymore. So I'm research and learning. Now I'm going to switch over to browse subjects and scroll down just a little bit. So we have a whole bunch of just kind of put together subjects that are all related, but there's actually one in here for DIY and hobbies specifically. And so I kind of want to show you the whole tab so you can see everything that's in here, but I am going to focus on one resource. You can see Overdrive and Universal Class are there as well. Lynda.com is there. They have some good stuff, but it does tend to be more career and organization focused, less about home and kind of doing arts and crafts at home. So they have all kinds of different things. These top 4 are all Gale resources. The one I'm going to click on, though, is home improvement. I feel like that one had some of the best stuff in terms of closer to the DIY train. So I'm just going to search DIY, see what comes up. Give it a second. So this is Gail. This is Gail's Home Improvement. Here you're going to find articles. So these are just going to be, a lot of times they're going to be magazine articles. They may be professional articles, so things written by professional DIYers, I guess. But there's going to be all kinds of stuff. You can see this one's from the Architectural Digest. I am amazed that I just said architectural and didn't choke on it. But so this very first one, DIY inspiration from the issue, knock on wood. So there's going to be ideas and stuff from this article. If I scroll down, I can find more. I was going to go here. We'll do, I don't know, pallet fence for pigs. Let's do that one. DIY pallet fence for pigs from Countryside and Small Stock Journal. Okay. So when you click on an article, you can go in and just start reading it immediately. There's going to be sometimes pictures. Up along the top, you can see that you can send it to a variety of things. Usually you can send it to an email to have easier access. You will have to log back in again because it's a library resource. But you can also send it, in many cases, you can try to send it to social media. Not always going to work as well as you hope just because it requires a login to access it at the start. You can download it, so if you can get just a PDF on your computer, you can also print this down here below. You can also send it to Google Drive and Microsoft OneDrive. It should just send a PDF that way. Email, download, and print are also here. Over here on the left, if you need to translate it, you can. It doesn't do a ton of languages, but it does do a few. You can change the font size, so if you need larger or smaller font, you can choose that. And then if you just want to listen to this article, or many other articles within this resource, you can do that as well. So that's pretty cool. And then I want to scroll down. One more thing I want to show you in here is over here on the right-hand side. This resource and a lot of the other Gale resources like it have this Explore option. So it's going to give you some more articles and things that it's found that seem related to the article that you are reading. They are not always a perfect match, but they are trying. They usually are basing it off of tags and keywords. So they are going to be close, but maybe not quite. But it's a nice place to look to get some more ideas. And then just below that is related subjects. So you can see that this one is related to DIY, also the pork industry and swine, because it's a pig fence. So that I wanted to show you that resource and some of the other ones. So I hope you get an idea of some of the resources we have that can help you out on your DIY journey. So with that, I'm actually going to hop into the websites. So I am here. This is just a regular everyday website that I searched for. It's called Family Handyman. There is a magazine that they do, but they also have this really robust website with tons and tons of articles and videos and things that can help you out. And the very first thing that pops up is actually super useful for kind of a DIY class. It's 100 uncommon uses for common household items. Apparently a common household item, according to them, is a lot of 5-gallon paint buckets. But that whole article will go into detailing a bunch of uncommon ways to use that. And I know that that is a common theme with DIY, is kind of repurposing other household items. But as you scroll down, you can see that there are a whole bunch of other kind of videos and articles. They've got spotlights down here. Some of these are going to be how-tos or just tips and tricks. But you can find all kinds of stuff. And then over here on the right is a search option. So you can search to your heart's content for any project or something that you are working on. And using this, I actually found, I'm going to go over here all the way to WikiHow. I used Family Handyman to find app suggestions. And one of them was WikiHow as an app. And it is one of the apps that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but I wanted to point out that it is also a website. You can search for your heart's content. It is kind of self-explanatory in terms of what it does. It is a place to figure out how to do just about anything. So if you need to learn how to sew on a button, or if you need to learn how to, find a right angle using a ruler, you can do those sorts of things on here and you can find them. It's a great place to go and look for answers to kind of fairly common questions. Also a good way if you're trying to build yourself a wood pallet end table, they likely have instructions for you. It's also a good place to find out some things like how to get rid of or how to remove a busted screw. I know that is a common issue when you're working with maybe older furniture that you're trying to rehab. You may need to find ways to get rusted screws or nails and stuff out of things without ruining the wood product, and this is a good way to go in there and search for it. All right, so here we are. The next website is YouTube, the trusted resource for just about everything if you want to learn something, but don't really need anything super specific. YouTube has a ton of stuff, and it's great for DIYs because you can literally just search for almost anything. DIY, we'll do DIY room decor. And there are videos in here. In some cases, it's going to be videos for ideas. So it's just going to be a whole bunch of cheap and easy cool ideas based on this, that, or the other thing. In some cases, it will also be a tutorial of how to make that item. To find the tutorials, you're better off searching directly for that item. So if you were wanting to make this DIY thing, want to make this little cloud shelf, you would be better off searching for like DIY cloud shelf or something along those lines. But you can find all kinds of stuff by doing just a basic DIY room decor search like that. You'll find tons and tons and tons of videos. And there's no obligation. So if you get in it, you don't like the video very much, click away and try another one. So you've got lots of choices in there. All right, the next resource I've got is Canva.com. And I do actually have another video out exclusively about designing with Canva. It is a great resource for those people like me who have very little design skill because it has lots and lots of templates. I bring this one up in this particular video because DIY is not just necessarily making furniture or physical, like big physical goods. Sometimes it is just like making your own posters, making your own cards. And this is a good resource for designing like a card or a flyer or something along those lines. To kind of, nothing else to get you started. If you're going to do something artsy and cool with the painting, you can actually print something out that has like the grid on it for you to paint. But it's a good spot to go and design some really kind of cool looking and unique cards, or business cards or posters, anything like that. They've got templates for just about any size, but it's a good place to kind of go and tinker with those sorts of things. And then last but not least, Pinterest. Brittany, another one of the consumer technology specialists, has made a couple of videos on Pinterest. So if you'd like to learn more about using it, that's a good place to start. But this is just kind of, well, this is the Pinterest homepage. You can do all kinds of stuff you can see already on this. There are some DIY ideas. There's a PDF pattern for the We Bear Bears to make crochet bears. This very first one is a Instagram picture of what looks to be a self-created wood desk, or a Nook desk. So you have all kinds of DIY stuff in here already. This is a great place to go for inspiration. Also an excellent place to go for just ideas. Keep in mind that everything on Pinterest is not necessarily just from Pinterest. It's like YouTube. It's coming from other creators or other places on the web. So when you're in here looking for stuff, if you look for, well, I already searched for DIY furniture, so we'll just do that again. If you're in here looking for this, 99% of the time you're going to be taken to an outside website with either instructions or, ways to get to the instructions. You might be taken to a video like this one showing you the video as it goes through, but it may also have you go to a website to find the tutorial for making that. So just keep that in mind, but it's a great place to go. You can also create, because it is Pinterest, you can create those pin boards. So you can create boards to kind of store your ideas. I've actually created a board to store the ideas that I've done so I don't try and save them again. And then I can actually pick and choose because I have two different boards. One is for successes and one is for Pinterest fails. So things that just did not work out well for me, I save them that way. So it's kind of a good way to organize your thoughts. So I hope you enjoyed these. We're going to switch over so you can see some of the apps. All right, so we are back on the PowerPoint, and I just wanted to bring up a few of the app options that are out there. I'm not actually going to go into all of these apps because time, but so I've pulled out 5 apps and 1 idea. So the first one is Floor Plan Creator. It is pretty much exactly as advertised as a good way to literally create a floor plan. You give it dimensions, and you can start to kind of plan out the spaces that you have with furniture sizes and all of that. You can get an idea. It's basically virtual graphing paper, which is really awesome. And then there's the iHandy level, so your phones can actually, in many cases, tell when it's moving. And it also can tell kind of its angle, and so you can use this app as a level if you don't actually have a level, which I think I have one, but who knows where it is. So I've actually used an app similar to this on my phone to try and get a painting level before. So it's really helpful to have. The handyman calculator works a little bit like all of those cooking things that tell you how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon. Um, this works the same way, but for more specific like tools and stuff. So if you're looking for angles, it's kind of going to help you calculate that information in any conversions that you need to do. If it's like liters versus, I don't know, weight, something along those lines. So you've got a lot of options there. The DIY Tip Genius app is quite literally, it just gives you a bunch of tips and tricks to help you out with your DIY projects. WikiHow, I already talked about as a website, but there is an app for that. The Family Handyman website and Pinterest and Canva and YouTube, all the websites that I showed you actually do have apps available. I just didn't put their icons on here. Overdrive has an app as well. And then finally, I put Paint Pickers on here, and Paint Pickers is not an app. It is a series of things. So a lot of paint brands and popular home improvement stores have apps out there to help you, well, pick paint. So Sherwin-Williams has Color Snap, Behr has the Color Visualizer, Home Depot has Project Color, and then Benjamin Moore has the Color Visualizer. And a whole bunch of other brands have their own apps and little web app things that'll allow you to pick out color. Some of them will just show you color swatches, which is why I did the paint swatches there. Others will let you literally like do a altered reality or version, so you can kind of get a picture of your room and they can kind of superimpose that color on your wall, so you can get an idea of what it's going to look like in your space, which is a really, really, really cool tool. Most of these apps are free. They are not always available on all types of phones. So when you are going to go in there and look at it, make sure that it is available for your phone type. So Apple versus Android. I do believe I picked out ones that were all available, but that sometimes changes. So just keep that in mind. And with that, well, maybe. There we go. So the quick recap. So we are at the end. So I just want to do a quick recap of everything I have talked about. So from the library resources, we talked about Universal Class, which is those self-paced online courses that you can take to learn how to do all kinds of really cool stuff. Gale Home Improvement and some of the other Gale databases that can give you articles and stuff to walk you through during different projects that you want to do. And then Overdrive to give you both books for inspiration and books for tips and tricks for how to do things. And then from the World Wide Web, we've got YouTube, Family Handyman, Pinterest, and Canva, all of which are great resources to find both inspiration and, step-by-step instructions for how to do all of these different projects. And then finally, we hit those apps, all of which can be incredibly helpful when you're doing a big DIY project or even a little DIY project. They're just very helpful no matter what. So thank you for joining me once again. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'd love to see you join us for a bunch of our other videos. We are premiering new videos every week on the Facebook page, MCPL 360. You can find our new videos premiering at Tuesday at 2, Wednesday at 1, and Friday at 1. And if you want to watch this video or any of our other videos, including our video premieres, you can also find us on YouTube. So you can search for Mid-Continent Public Library or MCPL-MO, and once you're there, you can find all of our different playlists and check out all of our older videos. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you again for joining me, and have a great week.